A few years ago, I was walking past a fancy cosmetics shop, and a truly bizarre lipstick in the window caught my eye. It was deep green. I obviously had to try it, but once it was on my arm, it wasn't green at all. It was pink. I hadn't thought about this Kermit-colored lipstick for years, but products like Dior's Lip Glow Oil, which is clear in the tube but turns pink when applied, have started trending recently. And that got me thinking about that grinchy green lipstick again. Now that I'm a more experienced formulator, I really wanted to make my own. Like Alice in Wonderland, I ended up tripping and falling down a rabbit hole to uncover the wizardry behind these color-changing formulations. I thought a simple Google search would be enough to set me straight, but everything I read about how the technology works skipped over key information you need in order to actually make your own products, which is partly because of some iffy marketing promises. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the sneaky trick big companies use to make color-changing cosmetics and how it works, where to buy what you need, and then how to actually use it to make your very own magical lip glosses and oils, and the misleading facts about this tech that confuse and mislead makers. I started my glossy deep dive with some Googling and ingredient list cross-referencing, and pretty quickly learned that two ingredients, Red 27 and Red 21, were the sources of the sorcery, with Red 27 being much more common. All the articles I read said these colorants shift from clear to pink when the gloss is applied to the skin and the pH raises. But I had Red 27 and Red 21 and they did not work that way at all, so what gives? Clearly, there was something else going on that the how color-changing lip gloss works articles weren't talking about. So I dove into my favorite part of formulating, experimentation. After months of testing and a ton of bright pink messes, I figured out how to make the color shift possible in DIY lip products. So you're welcome for the months of headaches and pink messes I'm about to save you. I'm going to teach you how to make a DIY dupe of the popular Dior Lip Glow Oil so you can see the magic in action, but this will absolutely work in your own formulations too. Any good dupe starts with trying the product and digging into the ingredient list. This ingredient list is pretty daunting, with 18 ingredients, and that's without any of the colors. I wanted to make this an accessible DIY, so let's trim this down to something that's way simpler but still has the luxurious, cushiony feel of the original. I immediately recognized two ingredients right near the top that I know are a big part of the expensive, long-lasting feel of the original. This here is the Versagel ME Gloss Base, a DIY classic for making clear, professional lip glosses, so we will definitely be using some of that. We're going to be making a 40-gram batch today, which is about the same as 4 tubes of Dior's product. You'll need 16 grams gloss base. Polybutene, their third ingredient, is a favorite of mine for creating luxurious feeling lip products. It's super thick, sticky, and shiny. Weigh out 14.8 grams. I experimented with some more complicated options for the rest of the base, but settled on just one more main ingredient that's easy to get: medium chain triglycerides. It's in the Dior product, but I'm definitely using more than they did. You'll need 8.6 grams. I did try including fancy carrier oils like the cherry oil Dior brags about, but I had to use so little to not color the base that I decided not to bother. I wrote a totally free partner blog post for this video, so if you want to go wild and experiment with including some of those oils, check it out, it's linked below. And then we've got one more ingredient left before we get into the color shifting magic, and you get to choose this one. It's 0.4 grams of a flavor oil or lip safe essential oil. Set that aside, and now it's color shifting magic time. This is where things get a bit tricky and really, really messy. We know from our research that we'll need Red 27 or Red 21, but clearly not these ones. It turns out that these ingredients are sort of like honey. Yeah, this is all honey, and if you used any of them in a tasty treat, the ingredient list would just say honey, but using manuka honey instead of wildflower honey in a honey cake is going to make a big difference. For the color shifting sorcery, you need a special version of the dye form of these colorants that is a lot harder to find. Most places only sell the lake form. The inky and CI are the same, but the performance and appearance is really different. These paler versions of the dye turn on when they encounter moisture and their pH raises above 4, like when it hits your skin. This is where we debunk one of the most common bits of marketing you see for these products. The idea that they adjust to your particular pH, creating a shade of pink that's perfectly customized to your unique chemistry. These dyes really just turn pink. There's no gradient of different pinks that means somebody with a pH of 5.2 would get a different type of pink than someone with a pH of 4.8. In fact, you and your best friend will get exactly the same pink that a piece of paper towel does. There is a way to use these dyes for a sort of custom effect, and I'll show you how to do that shortly, but it's not because of any sort of personalized pH magic. So where to buy these special dyes? In the USA, TKB Trading's Presto Changeo Magic Color is an easy-to-use ultra-fine dispersion of red 27 in a base of castor oil, and this is what I'm going to use. You can also buy the dry forms of red 27 and red 21 from my skin recipes out of Thailand. Now that you can see what these ingredients look like, we can easily debunk yet another fact you'll often read about these dyes: the idea that they're clear before they've been turned on. As you can see, they're clearly not, well, clear. They're definitely paler, but yeah. I made a lot of orangey lip glosses that were supposed to be clear before figuring out what was actually happening. The unactivated dye obviously isn't clear, but it is significantly less potent than the activated dye. This means it's possible to use an amount so low that it's invisible, or effectively clear, before it activates, and then becomes noticeably pink once it does. This is also why this stuff is so dang messy. So what's the magic concentration, that sweet spot where it's invisible in the tube but pink on the lips? I started with TKB's recommended usage range, which was 2 to 5% when they released this product, and I quickly learned that was a lot. Not only did the Presto color the product, but it also made a lip gloss that was super duper pink, like way more pink than I wanted. The first application would be fine, very pink, but wearable. But because the dye stains the skin, as I reapplied throughout the day, the color just kept building and building and building, and by the time supper rolled around, I looked like I'd been using a highlighter for lip gloss. So I did a lot of experiments, pushing that amount lower and lower and lower and lower, and finally settled on just 0.02 to 0.05% of TKB's Presto Changeo for something that is clear in the tube and blooms into a noticeable but wearable and reapplicable pink when applied. Unfortunately, that means unless you're making a lot of lip gloss, even a single drop of Presto Changeo is too much. So how on earth are you supposed to weigh out such an absolutely minuscule amount? I'm going to show you how to reliably weigh out a fraction of a drop, but first we have to prepare our work surface because this stuff is insanely messy. If you think glitter is bad, well, glitter's got nothing on this stuff. It's neon pink and it flippin' stains. So, protect your workspace, wear gloves, and stick to glass and stainless steel tools. And really, once the dye has come out, just assume it's on your hands and don't touch anything that you aren't okay with turning pink. Now that I and my workspace are all suited up, I'm going to share a simple formulating trick with you for weighing out tiny amounts of concentrated ingredients like these dyes. We're going to make a dilution. I tried a lot of different concentrations and found a 5% dilution of Presto was a good level for making personal batches of lip gloss, 2 to 20 tubes or so. Making a dilution with Presto does require an extra step though. Because it's in a base of castor oil, which is pretty darn thick, once the dye starts to settle out of the oil, getting it mixed up again properly is challenging. Just shaking the bottle isn't enough, and if the original Presto isn't properly mixed, your dilution won't be accurate. To ensure you're actually making a 5% dilution, gently warm your Presto in a water bath on very low heat, maybe 50 degrees Celsius, for about an hour. After that, shake it up for what feels like way too long, and then a bit longer, and then you're ready. Weigh out 0.35 grams of Presto Changeo and add 6.65 grams medium chain triglycerides. Mix and then transfer to a wee bottle. We've got our base, we've got our dilution, all gloved up, and we're just about ready to mix this all together now. A word of warning, now that the dye is coming out to play, we have to be careful not to activate it in the product. Make sure your gloves, your tools, and your beakers are dry. Shake your dilution for good measure and weigh just 0.2 grams into the base we made earlier. This works out to 0.025% of Presto, which gives a soft pink flush that is about the same level of color the Dior lip oil has. And here's where that custom element comes in. The sheer pink blends with your natural lip color and makes it pinker. So sure, it's custom, but it has nothing to do with your pH and everything to do with your lip color. You could use more dye if you want a stronger pink, but I recommend no more than 1% of our 5% dilution, which works out to 0.05% Presto. If you go higher than that, you'll start to see the oranginess of the dye, and you'll get a bright pink stain that lasts for days, which is quite a commitment. You can also use up to 1% of this dilution in all sorts of other things to make them color changing. I used it to create my very own version of that green lipstick that first inspired me. I've shared this as a patron exclusive. There's 2 different versions of it, so please consider becoming a patron if you'd like to check this out and help support Humblebee and me. If you've watched my old lip gloss base video, a word of warning. Polyamide 3 and 8 cause the dye to activate. You can counter it by adding acid, but it is an extra step that requires a bit of finesse. Stir everything together and then you're ready to package it up. If the mouth of your tube is wide enough to just pour the lip oil straight in, do that. Otherwise, I recommend using a disposable piping bag to fill your tubes to contain the mess. Avoid touching the inside of the piping bag with bare hands, as I found even that much moisture can give the finished gloss a slight pinky flush. Now, you can use a wand lip gloss tube just like Dior does. I've linked these cute lookalikes in the blog post, but a word of warning. The wand will gradually introduce enough moisture to the product that it will turn pink in the tube. So you might prefer to use a squeezy tube instead. This isn't perfect as it really doesn't take much moisture to kick off the pink party, but things do stay clear for longer this way. Apply it, give it time to fully activate, and voila! Now that you know all the sneaky tricks for making magical color-changing lip gloss, you cosmetic wizard you'll want to check out this video next to learn the sneaky body oil trick big companies use. Heck, you could combine it with what you just learned to make a color-changing body oil if you wanted to, for that freshly sunburnt look.